I'm telling you, in the world of Inuyasha, everybody is focused on somebody. And what I mean by focused, I don't necessarily mean in the same way of like admiration. It's more of like a focus of getting rid of those that can thwart your ideals. For instance, everything with Mount Hakare, as well as Naraku erasing his presence, and all of that had all been to deal with um, ooh, what was her name? It wasn't Kagome. Hmm. It's Inuyasha's other fling. What was her name? That's right, it was Kikyo, and mainly because Kikyo has the ability to purify the Shikon Jewel, which Naraku has been using his dark energy to sully the jewel. Meanwhile, both Kohaku, who is in fear of letting anybody, or majority of the other characters, know that he's no longer mentally under the control of Naraku in the sense of being brainwashed, but now he's in the control of Naraku because Naraku holds the reins to his heart. Meaning that if Kohaku decides to rebel against Naraku, then Naraku is going to just simply crush Kohaku. Which places him in a very awkward position because he wants to destroy Naraku along with Kagura. Both of them want Naraku dead and gone, which is funny because once Naraku dies, I'm pretty sure Kagura is connected to him in some way. Seeing as how she was ultimately born from him. But as we know, those that are born from Naraku for the most part have their own individual identity. Throughout this volume, that being volume 34, I felt that a lot of the development went towards Kohaku, especially with him fighting his own internal demons of wanting to help his sister out, but at the same time not wanting to be destroyed by Naraku if he shows any signs of rebellion. Hence why during the first portion of the volume, the Zushi Nezumi stuff that was happening, Kohaku was protecting the Zushi, which was this like miniature shrine. As long as it stayed open, these little demon rats could come out and destroy practically anything. Their job mostly was to get Kikyo to come out of hiding, which she eventually does, but at a very convenient moment. Right when it seemed that literally everybody has lost their options and they're all going to die, that's when Kiko shows up, destroys this barrier that was protecting the Zushi. That way, Sango, was this either Sango or was Inuyasha that destroyed the Zushi? And of course, with their little temple being destroyed, the rats vanish along with it. Another character that got a lot of development, surprisingly, and managed to take care of not only Inuyasha, but Miroku and Sango, was Shippo. Let me explain. So, as you guys know, there is kind of a couple reoccurring jokes that I like to tell while doing these Inuyasha reviews. One of them being Shippo is useless, and the other one being that Koga sucks. Well, that's actually true. Koga does suck. Okay, let's not beat around the bush for that one. But I have to start taking back what I'm saying about Shippo, because Shippo honestly isn't useless. So there's this yokai called the Sadori Yanagi, and it's a parasitic yokai. What this yokai does is it latches itself onto another yokai. It looks like a tick, okay? And it takes control of that yokai. So if you're putting 2 and 2 together right now, which equals 4, or unless you're one of those people that, stubbornly equate the plus symbol into the equation, then it equals 5, I guess. Yeah, it took over Shippo, and it utilized all of Shippo's skills, which shows that Shippo could be a very capable fighter. Like, I'm not saying Shippo would be one of those on the front lines, but Shippo could become a strong support. All he has to really do is learn how to utilize his trickster way of battling. But what's interesting about these Yadori Sanagi, that it's something that all parties want destroyed. And it's mostly because, like I said before, they can take control of yokais. So you have Kikyo trying to destroy them. You have Naraku's party continuously trying to destroy them. And we also get an answer in this volume as to why Naraku's presence, why his miasma hasn't been detected by anybody. As we know, Inuyasha has a strong nose, and he can smell the evil off of Naraku. Kagome has great spiritual awareness, as does Kikyo, as does Sango, and as does Moroku. Each one of them can sense evil, but for whatever reason, Naraku is like a silent fart. You don't know he's there until the last fucking minute. Turns out that Naraku stole a gem or a safety stone, whatever, from a gigantic yokai that is when sleeping, is the shape of a mountain. When not asleep, well, imagine, if you will, a giant mountain with big, huge eyes and like sharp rock-looking teeth walking around. That mountain is called Gakko Sanjin. And the stone that Naraku took away is known as the Feudal Heki. So the Feudal Heki is a stone that can erase yoki. It can erase the presence of a yokai's energy, which is why nearly everyone hasn't been able to detect Naraku's location and pinpoint where he is exactly. But now they can, because with the crystallized yoki of Gakko Sanjin, they are able to notice when Naraku could be nearby. How, you might ask? Well, it's mostly because this crystallized yoki, when it's away from the Fuyu Heki, it is stable, meaning that you can see it. But the more it gets closer to the stone, it starts to disappear. So it's kind of like these stones own dragon radar. In the last moments of the volume, Naraku once again tries to eliminate Kikyo, but it is thwarted uh, by Inuyasha and Inuyasha's comrades. Now, during all of this, happening, kind of, um, or actually a little afterwards, we get to see Hakudoshi and Kohaku go on a hunt for this yokai called Haku. Now, apparently, Haku, there's a kanji for it that can mean spirit. And Haku looks like a gigantic whale. It eats spirits. That's all it does. They cut it open, and there's a bunch of like shining orbs in it, meaning that those orbs are human spirits. But then we cut away from that to Koga. And Koga and his little party come across just a bunch of dismembered yokais. Not only that, but they come across a gigantic monstrosity that looks okay. It's like a weird amalgamation of a bunch of yokais put together. It's one of the closest things I've seen to a Lovecraftian horror within the story. And of course, Koga's group gets intercepted by Inuyasha's group, and that's essentially where the volume comes to a close. So if we look at everything that we got from this volume and why this volume matters, all right, we got character development from Kohaku, more character development from Kagura, some development from Kana. Oh, I forgot to mention, didn't I? Kana has the baby. The baby has the stone. And as we know, the baby is Naraku's heart. Because Naraku can be destroyed and destroyed time and time again. He's just going to keep on coming back. But the moment they destroy that baby, which was the second half of Hakudoshi, then Naraku is going to be screwed. So yeah, sorry, I almost forgot about that little tidbit. We also learned the reason of why no one was able to sense Naraku this entire time. Especially considering the fact that Naraku is the embodiment of hundreds of smaller yokai thrown together. He's essentially Boogie Woogie Woo from A Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh, also, Shippo got character development in this volume, and this volume shows us that Shippo could eventually become a capable fighter. Like I said earlier, probably not a front-line fighter like, say, Inuyasha, Wow, why is that? Why am I having a hard time saying that name? Moroku, Sango, Sashomaru, but he could become a great support, like how Kagome is for most part, or even Jaken is. When it comes to Sashomaru's group. And so, with that being said, what do you guys think of Inuyasha, Volume 34? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to comment, rate, subscribe, if you haven't already, and share this with anyone that would be interested in watching my content, which is probably not the most exciting content out there, but hey, I don't think I'm that boring, am I? All right. Ciao for now.